Welcome back. I'm John's dad. It's great you're checking out my backpacking channel. I focus on everything related to backpacking, trip reports, gear, tricks, and hacks. I personally like to take a big bite out of backpacking food too. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know about the AT hiking group I am so lucky to be part of. It formed almost 10 years ago organically. We suggested to our scout troop that we hike a week on the Appalachian Trail as a summer camp. Skills for every rank and a lot of merit badges would be completed almost naturally. This includes the elusive 50-miler patch. Being a scout-led troop, they decided on something else for the summer camp that year. We adults were kind of disappointed until somebody said, "Let's do it anyway." Our first section of the Appalachian Trail was the roller coaster in Virginia. Maybe not so smart. What a challenge. I think we're lucky that anybody came back the next year. We've hiked at least one section of the Appalachian Trail every year since that first year. Our plans for this summer are epic, so stay tuned. Almost 30 people have hiked with us at least once. It started with some scout dads many years ago and has expanded to family members and friends of all ages and genders. I'm a little ahead of the others in terms of total miles hiked on the Appalachian Trail. I'm retired. My schedule is pretty free. This summer, I'm going to cross over 700 total miles hiked on the Appalachian Trail, which were all completed the hard way, one section at a time. We started hiking 1 week a year on the Appalachian Trail and soon added a 3-day weekend in the fall, a 3-day weekend in the spring, and a 1 or a 2-day overnight in the winter in February. And that's what this video is all about. This year, we went back to the park and pack sites at Mohican State Forest in Ohio, USA. These sites have been closed for a couple of years due to a devastating tornado. Some of the sites have been reopened and are very popular. You can check out my video here from last year when I surveyed the open sites and shared the huge areas of destruction. Our plan for the weekend was that 2 of us would go to Mohican early on Friday morning to ensure that we get a site. There's no way to reserve a site before you arrive. It's a first-come, first-served system. It is possible, though maybe in the middle of the winter unlikely, that all of the sites would be booked but when we arrived. I'll show you where we signed up in a few minutes. We are fortunate and signed up for the Park and Pack site number 4. It's right east of the War Memorial, and you park in the bridal staging area right off of State Route 97. It was nice to have a quiet day on Friday gathering firewood and hiking the trails. Kevin caught the change in the weather forecast early enough so that we could get all of our firewood collected, cut, and organized long before dinner time. Just after noon on Friday, the snow started coming down as hard as I've ever seen. I grew up in Wisconsin, where we had blizzards in 9 months of the year. This was a snowstorm. It took an extra round-trip hike out to the parking lot, but I was able to sneak a Dutch oven to camp to surprise the rest with a dump cake for dessert Saturday night. This is my first time using a Dutch oven, so I'll show you how it turned out later. The rest of the group started showing up about 9:30 a.m. in the morning on Saturday. This included some scouts and a dad coming just a day hike with us. We had almost a dozen people in the woods together this weekend. They set up their tents, hung their hammocks. We headed out on a long day hike to explore the southern side of Mohican. We found a protected spot with picnic tables to have lunch and got back to camp just before dinner. In the past, we've always stayed in park and pack sites 8, 9, or 10 on the north side of Mohican. These sites are still closed partially due to the tornado damage and partially due to misuse by some campers. You've heard the expression that it only takes a few to ruin it for everybody. I know none of my subscribers would ever abuse their wilderness rights and privileges, but we have all encountered those who do. So I'll first share my food plans for the weekend and then share the hiking and camping Friday and Saturday with you. By the end, you'll understand why there's not much to share from Sunday. We've got another weekend backpacking trip coming up. 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm going up Friday with some friends to Mohican State Forest, and group of them will come up Saturday. Some people doing a day hike, some doing an overnight down to about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And so here's the food I'm taking, and you're going to say, but John's dad, you're going to have too much food, and that's my plan. And so I'm going to get up there Friday after breakfast. So the first meal is lunch, and it's going to be some wraps, and I'll put some pictures in here so you can see how I made it. For snacks, it's a Snicker, of course, and then I made some cranberry discs. I dehydrated them from jellied cranberry, and I'll put some pictures in for that. This is a tinfoil dinner. Last year at Zaleski, I think I showed you how I made that. This one I used pork sausage, so it should be pretty spicy. Actually, that's my plan. It'll be frozen when I leave home, and then by dinner time it should be thawed out. For breakfast, I'm going to have some oatmeal, and in there I put my normal mix of trail mix, a little spicy peanuts. I don't know, maybe most people don't like spicy breakfast, but I do. For snack again, some Snickers and some more of the cranberry discs. For dinner, I just took a can of beans, spicy beans, put them on the dehydrator, dehydrated them, took some jalapeno hot dogs, sliced them up real thin. Now, I didn't dehydrate the hot dogs because meat doesn't really rehydrate that well. So I tested it and it was really good. I'll throw some boiling water in there, wait 10 or so minutes. The beans will rehydrate really well, and all I have to do is heat up the hot dogs, and this has been frozen since I created it. So there's nothing wrong with the meat maybe going bad. For dessert, some chocolate pudding. That's just instant pudding with some powdered milk in there. It's 1/3 cup of powdered milk is a cup of milk. So that'll be dump in almost 2 cups of water, stir it up. And by the time you get it done stirring it, it's ready to eat. So Sunday morning, I'll get up, have some Pop-Tarts. I like a real simple breakfast. And here's the part that's going to be coming home with me. I've got some Baby Bell cheese, 3 bags of my homemade trail mix, which is spicy, and got some tea. And this time, I brought real sugar. In the previous Monday mistake, I told you about drinking my hot chocolate because I was cold and shivering and realizing I had 25 calorie hot chocolate. So I was getting no energy. I was getting the warm water, and it did help, but I should have had actual energy, and I'm going to be getting energy here. So that's what I'm going to be eating. Any thoughts? Here's the kiosk where you sign up for campsites. It is first come, first serve. No way to online reserve them. But here's how you sign up. There's a clipboard here, and we want site 4. Here's site 4. The last person that was here was on the 9th. They left on the 11th, and today is the 16th. So we're good to go. There's nobody up here on the 4th. I like 4 too, so I'm not sure why they're not staying here. So that's the plan. You'll come this way. You'll come this way on 97, turn into this driveway for the bridle parking. Turn left immediately. Wait for the truck to pass, and that's where you park. We're back at 4, and it looks like they raked the trail for us. Isn't that nice? There's a beautiful spot, beautiful weather. It'll be a little above freezing today, and down to again to about 20, and I forget what that is, Celsius tonight. So it'll be cold, below freezing. Here's home for tonight. Tomorrow we'll have a few more people coming, so it'll be a regular metropolis. I like to throw a bear rope as soon as I get to camp. It's easy to do with the sun up and nearly impossible to do safely after sunset. You don't actually have to pull the bear bag up right away, but having the rope hanging there makes the evening go so smoothly. Find a relatively square rock. The sharper the edges, the better, so the rope has something to bite into. Wrap the rope around the rock halfway, spin the rock 90 degrees, and wrap it halfway again. Keep doing this until you have just the right amount of rope remaining to tie a couple solid knots. Make sure it's tied real tightly. You don't want the rock to come flying off the first time you throw it. The rock will eventually come flying off, so be very careful about the people near you. Be careful too, because once that rock goes over the branch, it might want to swing back and hit you in the teeth. I tie a small bowline at the end of my bear rope. So as I coil the rope up, I just slip my little finger in there and I coil the rope on my hands like you'd expect. But then I hang on to this. I don't know how many times I've thrown the rock up over the branch, and the whole rope follows the rock all the way over the branch. So if you just hang on just a little bit like this, you can just grab it and it won't go all the way and you won't have to throw it again. All right, you see this branch right here? I'm going to try to throw it way out here at the end, and I'm going to be aiming not at the branch. I'm going to be aiming up here. I want it to go over and have lots and lots of momentum, so as it falls on the other side, it pulls the rope. If you aim right at it, you have a 50% chance of going over, 50% chance of going under. So do the Six Sigma stuff. Throw it so it goes over, throw it real high, and then it plummets and falls and gains momentum. It pulls that rope all the way down. If you aim just at it, it'll go and wrap around, so that's no good. Or if you go over just a little bit, it falls and then stops and hangs way up there. Waste to throw. All right, so watch this and see what happens. Well, I don't always get it over on the first throw, but I'm going to leave all of that footage in there so you can see. I walked over, I aimed really, really high, it went over, and it plummeted all the way down. And I sure hope that this took, because you know I can't do it twice in a row. We have the bear bag hung. We've been making firewood. Here's our fuel. Our tinder and kindling. We're not going to need very much. This is dry stuff. It's breaking with our fingers. And there's our fire ring. You always make the fire in the fire ring. And here's our home for tonight. Beautiful. Totally calm. Maybe 30 degrees. 0 degrees Celsius. It's nice. So what's this all about? Post here at Site 4 with the crescent moon. Does that mean that this is the latrine area? There is no latrine here. No, my tent is not getting old and turning gray. It's snowing. Beautiful day. Very, very slight breeze. We got a fire going. Drinking some tea. Had lunch already. If your wood is cold and wet, you can stack it up around the outside of your fire to get it to dry up and warm up a little bit so it's ready for you. Be careful though, I did do this one time and those logs caught on fire and we had a lot of excitement until we could get it all burned down. I'm thinking this one's dried out enough and it's ready to go. Oops. This is a good bear hang. Using the friction knot here. So in the morning we just pull this bundle of rope out and it comes down. Follow the rope up way above my head, and I'm the same size as a bear. Way down from the tree. This is a real excellent bear hang. And we don't have any bears here, but we do have raccoons and squirrels and other things. But my guess is that at 27 degrees Fahrenheit, way below 0 Celsius, everybody's sleeping except for me right now. It's cold today. It was above freezing Fahrenheit. It was also above freezing Celsius. That was during the day. And it's just a degree or so above freezing. Tonight, it's going to drop down to 5 or more degrees below freezing. Okay, so what does that mean? When you get into your tent and you take off your boots, of course the boots never go in the tent. They're going to be sitting outside. Unlace them or loosen the laces and spread out the top of them, because in the morning they're going to be frozen, right? They're wet today from walking in mud and snow. They're going to freeze overnight. If you don't open them up tonight, they're going to be frozen shut in the morning. Then what do? Open them up, put your cold feet into your cold boots, and your feet will thaw out your boots. Good luck. If your boots freeze like this, you can still get your feet into them in the morning. Open them up, loosen the laces. Otherwise, you're going to be walking around in frozen shoes. Well, here we are Saturday morning, and it did snow a lot. Let's just pull this rope out. Look at that. Pulled right out. Now, I need 2 hands to actually lower it, so I can't film. So I also I did spread out my boots last night, and they went on kind of tough, but I got them on.
How was that? Waking up to a whole bunch of snow.
It was great.
Awesome.
So we got 4 or 5 inches of snow last night. Everybody's starting to show up. All right, so the rest of the group showed up. We met them up at the parking lot. Grabbed the wheelbarrow, threw in some of our firewood, a Dutch oven, but don't tell anybody that's a surprise. We're going to have chocolate cake with cherry filling for dessert. They don't know it, so don't tell them. And this will be the first backpacking trip I've been on where we've had a Dutch oven. Hey, Matt, what's wrong with you that you're out here camping in the snow?
Just enjoying the beautiful weather.
It is beautiful.
I drove down from Michigan to the beach.
Might be hard to see from here. What these guys are doing, they put one garbage bag on each leg. And the water crossing here is half a meter deep, maybe, a foot or so. Notice he does not use trekking poles. It's not raging rapids either.
Hello.
So,
Not too bad.
are those actual wader things?
We're admiring your gear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these are kind of a necessity down here this time of year.
That's like a wader.
Yeah, just backpacking waders. Yeah, he's got the low budget ones because, well, was trying to find another pair of them online and couldn't find them anywhere. I got these, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. Yeah. Nope. No, so far they've held up good. Yeah. Uh-huh. Or take a picture. Got your phone.
Hey,
Yep.
Bob.
So this is what a Nalgene looks like when it's full of frozen water and you put it a little bit too close to the fire to get it to thaw out. We talked after this happened, and we don't think any of us, and we've got 100 years of backpacking experience combined, so we've got a lot of experience in this group. None of us has ever seen a successful thawing of water or drying of socks or other clothes next to a fire. At the end of the attempt, either the water is still frozen, the clothes are just icy cold now, or they're melted or burned. We have seen it in a shelter situation where you can actually set the water or the clothing a foot or two away from the heat, so it's not so close, so it's not going to melt and not going to burn. But around a regular campfire, none of us ever saw it be successful. So if you've seen it be successful, leave a comment down below. Your experience is a little different than ours. Sunday morning. Oh, it was so freaking cold. We just packed up and headed for the cars. I actually slept fairly comfortably during the night in my 0-degree sleeping bag with an air mattress rated at R7, and that's a pretty high R value, and a closed cell foam pad under everything. I wore merino long johns and a merino half zip over my base layers, a merino wool balaclava to help keep my head warm where my hairline is starting to recede. I also had nice fluffy merino wool socks on my feet. I did get chilled a few times, and when I woke up I did some crunches and other simple exercises in my sleeping bag just to generate enough warmth so I could go back to sleep. It took me a while on Monday to figure out why my stomach muscles hurt so much. This was another great weekend with friends. We had lots of successes and only one failure. Take a look at the burnt remains of my dump cake. Here's our Dutch oven dessert, chocolate cake with cherry fruit, and about a half a bottle of Diet Mountain Dew. And they're saying that the aluminum liner is the best part of the dessert. So please like and subscribe, share with an adventurous friend, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any valuable content. Next week, I'm heading back to the Pacific Northwest. See you there.